So I went to a retreat run by the Tallahassee Guild. It's their annual one. It's not only about going, it's about who you get to meet and where you get to stay. So I stayed with Una, who is someone I know from Polymer Clay Adventure. And this is where we went to spend the day to work together at the Art Education Annex in Tallahassee. And it's really fun to just watch everybody spread out their stuff and watch them work and see what their favorite colors are, get some inspiration about maybe something that will kickstart your creativity. There were inchies being worked on for a guild swap, and of course there are just people working on anything that they want to be wanted to bring and take some time to work on. And then there was a fabulous demo of jelly printing. And I fell in love with this technique, and you can be sure that I will be doing it. Helen Bellinot made these fabulous veneers, and then she made these gorgeous hearts by the end of the day. Just really cool. So stay tuned for a quick tutorial. While I was at the retreat, I was making these, which are hamsas for a swap at Polymer Clay Adventure. So the technique that I used to make these little balls around the top and edges was something that everybody was really interested in, so I thought I would just quickly show that to you today. So I also made this button that has just a basic shank on the back because I knew that I wanted to make one of these, like captured bead bracelets, because I had just bought some beads that I wanted to feature. So all I had to do was choose clays in the colors that I wanted to go with the beads and make this really cool button. So there's lots of reasons you might want to make these sort of stud looking things, and they are made of clay, they're not beads. So basically, to make these, what you're going to need is some mylar foil, and I've got a piece here that's pretty cool looking, and I am going to just cut off a small portion of it just to make it easier to work with. And the mylar foils, what you need to do is get a nice thin conditioned piece of clay, and here I have a piece of silver, and then you're just going to place the foil. Now you're going to be able to tell the foil has like a silvery backing, and you can see the image on the front, so you're going to want to place it image up on your clay. And then you're going to want to burnish the heck out of it. And you're just pressing it down and kind of heating it up at the same time. And if you do this correctly, and it does take a little practice, so don't be discouraged if your mylar foil experiments take a couple of times before you get it right. Sometimes I use like a credit card or a bar of clay or something like that to get the foil to stick. And there are several brands available. Lisa Pavelka has some good ones. The one that I'm using right now is something that we're considering carrying at Polymer Clay TV. So if you like it, let us know in the comments, and we'll look into it further because we found some really fun designs. But basically, you're just going to burnish this, and then you're going to rip off the mylar like a band-aid. So once it's on there, you're going to find your edge, get a hold of it, which I kind of gave myself a very small amount to work with here. But you need to grab hold of your edge and then, oops, peel that mylar right off the clay. So this is what's left of that, and now the foil is on the clay, and it has instantly this really interesting sort of almost crackly, glittery look to it. So I have another piece that I had already done, and I've got one of our floral mandala presses, and I just wanted to show you one of my favorite things to do with this is to actually impress a design in it. Remember, these are presses, not cutters. So you're going to press a design, and I might have pressed a little too hard, oops, but you'll get the idea. Okay, so I've got this design sort of impressed, and then I'm going to take some Scotch tape and I'm going to peel some of the mylar back off the clay using the tape so that it's down in the cracks and not on the surface. And you can be sort of particular about it or not, depending on the look that you want. So you can make something look really antique-y or aged or sort of however you want it to look. Now I could go back into these raised areas and maybe use some Pearl-Ex or some other kind of paint to give it multiple layers of character. So that is one way of doing it, and then I want to show you how to make the studs or the bumps. So you'll need a piece of clay as your base, so I'll just use that one. And then you'll need the clay that you have foiled. And then what you're going to use is a Sculpey tool called the Etch and Pearl. And the Etch and Pearl, mine is all funky on the one end, but they come as a straight, almost knitting needle-ish end, and then this cup. So the end is a cup, and then all we're going to do is use that cup to scoop off the foiled clay so that the cup is full of the clay, and then we're going to set it on your other base clay firmly, give it a twist. So I just get the little piece of clay in the cup and then sort of roll off the edges so that there's no funky bits hanging out there. And then I've got a cup full of clay, and then I set it on there, press it a little, and give it a twist. And there you have your little clay studs that are foiled. So it's a really fun technique, and that's how I did the outer edge of my hamsa. And then of course my flower also has a different color of foil on it, and I used the mini flower plum blossom cutter, the smallest one, to make that size of the flower. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you think about maybe going to a local guild meeting or a polymer clay retreat if you can. If not, we have polymerclayadventure.com, which is an online retreat for all those of you who have difficulty traveling, or whatever reasons it may be that maybe you don't have a local guild or whatever. So that's really the reason that Elisa and I put that together. So enjoy these fun foil techniques, and we'll see you next time.